The main character, Mia, has been obsessed with the sea since childhood. She is only 15 years old, but life has already decided to throw her a curveball, moving to a new city, a new school, and new alpha kids who see her more as an object of ridicule than a friend. Her mother tries to support her daughter, but Mia reacts to her kind words like a wild hedgehog to a hug, aggressively, throwing her mother to the floor. At night, Mia suddenly feels thirsty and quenches her thirst with a glass of salt water. In class, Mia decides to join the cool kids and supports the idea of a walk organized by their informal queen, Jean. The group entertains themselves with a dubious game in which the participants choke each other until they lose consciousness. When it's Mia's turn, she loses consciousness and feels like she's at the bottom of the ocean. When she comes to, she goes home and takes the logical step of eating the goldfish from the aquarium. However, her stomach refuses to accept such gifts from fate, and the fish quickly returns. To fit in with the local goddesses, Mia decides to start a sexual revolution: new makeup, revealing clothes, and rehearsing seductive dances in front of the computer. Her cool integration into society continues with a raid on a cosmetics store, where she steals several items. At home, life gives her a bonus: Mia gets her first period. The girl relaxes in the bathroom and discovers that her toes have started to grow together. She decides to go to the doctor. The doctor believes it is a congenital defect, but Mia is convinced that she is turning into something between a mermaid and a horrible mutant. The doctor takes a blood sample and is clearly nervous. Mia decides not to wait for the diagnosis and runs away from the hospital. In the evening, looking through family photo albums, she realizes that she has never seen her mother pregnant and begins to suspect that she was adopted. In order not to feel completely alien in this world, Mia agrees to go on a date with an older guy she has been corresponding with for a long time. But things don't go according to plan. The man touches her leg, sees the bruise, and the girl panics and runs away. Deciding that doctors and men won't help her, Mia takes matters into her own hands. Literally, she cuts her fused fingers with scissors and wraps them in bandages. To hide the bruises, she applies a layer of makeup and goes on a date with a boy from school whom she has liked for a long time. Without much ado, the girl jumps on her handsome classmate. The bruises on her legs grow, literally. But as we all know, blue legs are not particularly fashionable among teenagers, so she hides them under pants. At dinner, Mia eats for three, apparently compensating for her mermaid metabolism. In the evening, the teenagers have their typical prom, with dancing, alcohol, and a minimum of common sense. In the morning, Mia brings Jana to her place. They play around a bit and fall asleep next to each other. The next morning, Jana forges Mia's father's signature, thereby giving the girl permission to go on the field trip. And so the bus drops them off in the forest. As usual, nature has no bad weather, but Mia has a bad feeling. In the bathroom, the girl discovers that her belly button is gone and her legs are half covered in coal. Panic sets in, tears flow, but what's the point? You can't glue a belly button back on. In a state of alarm, she returns home, where her parents express their dissatisfaction with her unauthorized actions and suggest she seek psychological help. The next morning, the girl wakes up naked on the floor, with clumps of strange black skin nearby. Mia decides that these are not pimples. At school, during biology class, where the teacher is cutting up fish, Mia can't take it anymore. She lunges at the unfortunate fillet like a hungry catfish at bait. A classmate witnesses the incident. Mia threatens to keep quiet. In an attempt to get to the bottom of the truth, Mia rummages through her mother's documents. The girl wants to find out if she was adopted, but her mother denies everything. Her parents leave for their boss's wedding, leaving the girl alone with herself. Left alone, she eats the fish left in the aquarium. In the evening, during a party at the lake, an accident happens. Jana does not surface from the water. Mia jumps in after her and pulls her friend ashore, then hides. At home, she notices gills appearing on her sides. Her legs are now completely covered in black skin. Jean is in shock and demands a doctor. Mia refuses. She kicks her friend out and immerses herself in the standard teenage cocktail: alcohol, parties, and the desire to forget. However, the school macho boys are not ready for a girl with black legs. They jump back as if they have seen Neptune himself. Mia runs away. Soon her legs finally grow together into something resembling a tail. She can no longer move, and her psyche is on the verge of collapse. Her suicide attempt fails. Mia loses consciousness, and the next morning she has a surprise. Her tail is complete, like a mermaid's. Movement is difficult, and her only salvation is water. With great effort, the girl makes it to the bathroom and turns on the water. Mia calls Jean. Strangely enough, Jean not only does not faint from what is happening, but also shows remarkable compassion. She drags her friend into a pickup truck and drives her to the sea. Mia calls her mother without giving any details, just to hear her voice. On the shore, the friends embrace. The last line, "I'm not afraid. The sea is my destiny." The girl crawls toward the water, merging with the ocean. The film Blue is the Warmest Color is not only a story about mutating limbs, but also a very vivid metaphor for growing up. Everything is there: bodily transformations, loss of control, the search for identity, distant parents, toxic friendships, and teenage loneliness. Only instead of pimples there are gills, and instead of inner pain there is a tail. And instead of support there is mistrust and forged signatures. But the main thing is not to get lost in this dark ocean of growing up and to be able to find your way back to yourself. Even if it means eating all the fish in the house. Subscribe to the channel. Here we talk about movies that make sense.